How's everyone doing tonight? This is Chopping It Up Hardcore with Hal Capone, discussion number 89. Tonight, my special guest is Jeff Kane from one of my all-time favorite bands, City of Caterpillar. Oh, I see you right there. I'll grab you right now, Jeff. So we're looking. Hope everybody's good. Whew, it was a hot one today in New Hampshire. It's crazy. Humidity was insane. Jeff, I don't know if you, like I said, if you're on a phone, it's easier if you use your phone. Laptops and computers sometimes don't connect right because of the updates. Try it again. Shooting your invite right now. Vinny, what's good? It says you're unable to join. See if you can you comment on here? Are you using your phone or like a laptop? We'll figure this out. This always happens. Oh, it says you need the latest version of Instagram. You need to update your version of Instagram to connect. No problem, no problem. We'll work it out. This always happens. Oh, is that Pete? Pete, what's good? What's going on, Pete? I know, updates, crazy. Yeah, it was hot as hell in New Hampshire today. So muggy. Work was crazy. It's good to be out. I had to do a little parking lot pimping tonight because my wife had COVID 8 days ago, and now my oldest daughter has some crazy cold right now. So I'm trying to stay out of the house as much as possible. So, but yeah, I'm pumped for this talk with Jeff. Nit-Pic, Turbine. Yeah, I'm doing all right. Like, knock on wood. But they're getting better, both of them. So yeah, scary though. COVID is. Oh, yeah, COVID's going crazy. I went to a show last week in Alston, and Nuvo had a positive COVID test the next day after I saw him. So I was a little worried, but I masked up. I always mask up like when I go to a show like that. So yeah. So far so good. Yeah, Jeff, Enemy Soil, Malady, super underrated. I love that Malady album. So good. Yeah, just like Jeff's everything he touches kind of turns to gold. Verse and Coma, Haram, Casey, what's good? Just waiting on Jeff. He's trying to update his Instagram right now, so just bear with me. Oh, sweet. Here we go.
Hello?
Jeff,
Hey, man. How's it going,
hey.
Hal?
Good. How are you?
Good. Sorry about the hiccups there.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, it happens a lot, honestly. Just like updates and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you so much for doing this, taking time out to chat with me. I know it's been a long time coming. I've been, harassing you guys for years to jump on with me. So
I'm sorry it's taken us so long to follow through.
no,
And I
no
appreciate
problem.
you taking the time to do this.
Usually when I first start out these chats, I usually ask, what were you listening to as a kid for music, and what got you turned on to hardcore and punk music?
Uh, when I was a kid, I think like the first thing that grabbed me was probably like Weird Al Yankovic. But my I have a twin brother who also like plays in hardcore bands and stuff. But he was really into glam metal, and I was definitely not into that. So it wasn't until like maybe like 1990, 91 when like I don't know, like Red Hot Chili Peppers and Nirvana started like exploding. That was probably like when I really started getting interested in music and like finding like hints of like the punk stuff. I mean, at first it was the corporate alternative rock that we were getting, but that definitely led the way to more underground stuff.
Yeah. Um, now you said glam metal. Your brother was into glam metal. Were you into like the heavier style heavy metal back then, or heavy
Not at all.
metal was not your bag at all?
I, Heavy metal never was really something I was into. Even still, I'm not really into metal. Everyone
Yeah.
like a few bands or a few songs I can get into, but metal's never been my thing.
So what kind of turned you on to the hardcore? What grasped you? Like what bands did you hear or go see live that you were like, whoa, like this scene is something different that I want to be part of? Like what kind of grabbed you?
Uh, I mean, definitely seeing like Fugazi for the first time. I think we went and saw them for the first time when we were like maybe 13 or 14, and that was pretty huge. It like definitely opened up our eyes to a whole different world of like stuff that was way more interesting than what was on the radio, and that it was like happening in our backyard. Like we grew up outside of DC in the Virginia suburbs, so it was like it was all happening right there. We can go see Fugazi for free multiple times a year. So that was a big one for me.
Now when you saw Fugazi and it kind of, did you jump back into Minor Threat after, or did you already know about Minor Threat beforehand?
I think we were aware of them, but uh, we definitely like dove into like the whole Discord catalog after we discovered that world. Like bought every Discord album we could. And had that I forget what the compilation's called. Flex Your Head, I think. We had that and all the Minor Threat stuff, and yeah, dove into all of it up to like the modern stuff at the time, was like like Hoover and Circus Lupus. We loved all of it.
Yeah. And your first band, if I could remember correctly, when I was talking to the Taylor brothers, they said that you had a high school band with your brother Eric. Was that band doing covers, or was that all original stuff in high school?
Eric, my first band was actually with the Taylors. Nit-Pic was really my first band. My brother was doing like a cover band with some older guys
Hmm.
for maybe a couple of years, but I wasn't in that. But like, yeah, he was doing like lots of alternative rock covers with those guys, and I kind of learned how to play a lot of stuff just by like watching them rehearse. Like I didn't really take guitar lessons, so like I would just watch them play and figure shit out.
Yeah. So you were self-taught on guitar?
Yeah, I mean, I think I took guitar lessons for maybe 2 or 3 months and gave it up because it was just like I wasn't really interested in scales and reading music. It was just like I would just go in with like punk rock tapes and be like, "Can you teach me how to play this?" And then like once I learned, it was like just power chords and like, oh, I don't need this. I don't need lessons to figure this shit out.
Yeah. So Nit-Pic was your really your first band.
Yeah. We had some stuff with like some friends that was like more for fun that like never really did anything or played any shows. So Nit-Pic was the first band that like played shows, recorded stuff, wrote songs.
Yeah, and I know the only song that I really have heard was the one on the Caligula Effect compilation. What else
Yeah,
did you guys like put out? Obviously, there was like a demo and stuff, but can you find that online or is that
I
lost?
don't. I I'm not sure if it's available online. We had two demo tapes, at least two, maybe three. But for some reason, I thought that Andy Lowe from Robotic Empire had put up our whole like discography at one point. But yeah, I think I looked for it recently and couldn't find it. So maybe he didn't. I don't know. Maybe it was up shortly years ago. I'm not sure what happened to
Yeah.
it. I know he has like digitized all of it. So if anybody wants to hear it that bad, go harass Andy Lowe.
That compilation is really really good too. I love that
Yeah,
compilation when I first got I mean, Amalgamation. I love that band, Pig Destroyer, um,
yeah, we
Reverse
got
Command on
lucky.
the.
We got really lucky to get on that. I don't know why they ended up agreeing to put us on. Maybe we were probably just like really persistent, but like yeah, we ended up on a comp with a lot of really good bands.
Yeah, and then Blake had joined the band too. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, he was in the band probably most of the time that we were a band. He was in it. Like
And then,
yeah,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say there was like there's kind of a revolving door of drummers and stuff, but like Blake was in it for most of the time. The Taylors and myself were in it for most of the time, and yeah, had a couple other like guitar players that would like come in too. But
Yeah. So after Nit-Pic, it was Turbine for you. Was that the next band that came after that?
yeah, probably so. I think I was playing with Jason Yon from Turbine even while Nit-Pic was going on, but uh, we probably didn't really get shit together until after Nit-Pic was done. And yeah, did Turbine, did like a demo and a split 7-inch with Majority Rule,
Yeah.
and we played around DC a lot with Turbine. Did like a couple like short tours, but yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, and obviously it was kind of a different type of music. Well, different sounding music than Nit-Pic.
Hmm.
Is that something you wanted to do, like after, or like, while you were in Nit-Pic and Turbine? Was it kind of there was like a balance between a hardcore sounding band and more of a like a garage punk type of band?
I mean, honestly, a lot of the early Nit-Pic stuff was very, very pop punk uh, sounding. So, and that stuff isn't all that different from Turbine, really. But to be honest, I wasn't like the musical direction of Turbine. I had very, very little to do with Jason Yon. Like, he had a vision for that band, and probably every band he's done since. Like, he's very much like in control and like the sole songwriter. So, that
Yeah.
Turbine is his was his vision for sure.
Nice, nice. I wanted to ask you about Enemy Soil too. How did that come about? You played bass in Enemy Soil, correct?
I played bass for a little while, and I played second guitar for a little while. Um, I don't know. Those guys they lived in the same little suburb town as us, and I think we first met them. We just there was a teen center that did shows in our community, so we just go there all the time, no matter what was playing. And like we went in one day, and there was like nobody there, but there were like these older dudes on the stage playing this really fucking intense, fast metal stuff like we'd never heard before. And it was Enemy Soil, so we like introduced ourselves and got to know them and like became friendly with them. And yeah, I think I started playing in Enemy Soil. I was probably like 17 or 18, but like it was after like I think I'd wanted to be in the band for a while because like their live shows were so vicious. It was like really impressive, but I don't think I got like the trust of Richard Johnson to be in the band until he saw me play in another grind band that like I was in a band called Treblinka. It was like before Pig Destroyer started. It was like when Scott Hall first moved to the DC area. It was like Scott, JR from Pig Destroyer, and me and my brother. Like we just played like one show and broke up. But like I think Richard seen me play grind stuff with those guys. He was like, okay, this guy can pull it off. So that's when he finally let me in the band.
Yeah.
And I was
Now,
quite, I think I was in Enemy Soil for like maybe a year or a year and a half.
yeah. Now, is that other band? Can you hear that online? Because I don't think I've heard that.
There's a video on YouTube of our one and only show, I think.
But
Yeah,
nothing recorded though online.
no, we never recorded anything. I don't think. We just practiced, played the one show, and broke up immediately after that show.
Yeah. So with Enemy Soil, you were on 2 recordings? Is that correct?
I don't know exactly. There was like a lot of like Richard would get just like weird requests from like this guy in Poland asked us to do a split tape, and like we just like set up a boombox and like record some stuff. So like there was a lot of that kind of stuff going on. So there was like one like full length record kind of thing that I'm definitely on, and then like a bunch of like those like weird splits and tapes and stuff that I don't know how many of those there are.
Yeah. Speaking of that, is that the one with Suppression, and that is it like a Russian name, and like the recording's really like sketchy?
Yeah, that's one of them.
I know
that was there's like a 3-way split with Suppression. There's one of those that we like. It was just we set up a boombox in the recording or like the practice space and just pressed record and like played some stuff, and that became a release. It was very, very low stakes back then. Like you could just do whatever.
And how was playing live with them? Because you were saying that that their live performance was something to be had. How was it playing actually in Enemy Soil? Like how
it was a lot of fun. I liked I think like the live aspect of the band was like maybe the only thing about being in that band I actually liked. But like, yeah, playing shows was fun, and we did a lot of shows when I was in the band. I think I pushed them probably like too hard to tour, more than like they'd ever really done and wanted to do. And I think that's probably was the end of me being in the band, just because I pushed it too hard. But we played a lot of shows, and it was fun.
Yeah. Do you have any
a lot of cool bands?
Do you have any memorable show that you could remember playing in Enemy Soil that stood out?
I mean, we weaseled our way onto some like really cool shows. But we played with like the Locust and Drop Dead in Tampa. No, it was the Locust, Jenny Piccolo, Drop Dead, Enemy Soil, Page 99. That was like a pretty memorable one. We played Orchid's first show in Amherst, New Hampshire, I think. But that was with Pig Destroyer and Page 99. Page 99 I think might have played that. Played a bunch of shows at Stalag 13 that were really cool. Did all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Now, was that the first band that you really went out on tour with? I mean, I know you played a lot of shows, in the area with Turbine. Was that kind of your first touring band that really kind of got out of the area you were at?
Yeah, Turbine toured a little bit. Like we got to like the Midwest a little bit, and up to like maybe like Philadelphia, New Jersey. But like Enemy Soil was definitely like the most touring I'd done up to that point.
And what was the time frame between? I mean, was there any other bands in between Enemy Soil and City of Caterpillar, or did it kind of just go to City of Caterpillar?
No, there was some. There was like another grindcore kind of band called Coma. We played a handful of shows. It was pretty short lived. That was, and then that was pretty much it between Enemy Soil and City of Caterpillar, I think. When I first joined City of Caterpillar, I thought I was joining Monotonous Fuck, and I was like preparing to do a Monotonous Fuck tour. And then well, another guy in Monotonous Fuck quit, so we had to change the name and write a bunch of new songs real fast. But like, I was supposed to be joining Monotonous Fuck.
Yeah. How did now? Did you know all those guys beforehand, or was it something new that you got into with City of Caterpillar? Or were all those guys from the same area, going to the same shows and stuff like that? Were you friends with all those guys already?
Uh, I mean, we were acquainted. I wasn't like good friends with them. I I'd been going to I went to like to VCU in Richmond for a couple semesters, and that's where I met those guys. And Brandon and Ryan are from Richmond originally, and so I wasn't good friends with them when I started playing with them, but we were friendly. We'd see each other at shows, see each other around, say hi. But yeah, joining the band was like where the friendship was more cemented.
Yeah, yeah. And who actually came up with the name City of Caterpillar, and what does it mean? I've always wanted to ask.
I'm not exactly sure who came up with it, and I'm not sure that it means anything, but it was the email address for Monotonous Fuck. And I think it was just like a easy way to transition the band. It's like, oh, we've already got this email address. Let's use this.
Worked out, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Going on 22 years now. And I want to say salute to congratulations on the new album that's dropping, very soon.
Oh, thank you.
I know a lot of people are super amped for that, and when I heard the news, I was super excited as well. It must feel like I said, 22 years, and now Mystic Sisters come out, very soon. How do you feel about that? Just like making new music, and you're gonna play shows in September, and how does it feel?
That's exciting. Well, some of the songs we've had in the works for like years now, so it's like it feels good to finally get them out there. We're getting to the point where it's like these songs are feeling old. Like it's like, oh, we gotta get some new stuff. This stuff's so old, but yeah, we're excited to get it out there and play some shows, and hopefully people dig it.
Yeah, no, definitely. The Decider is when I heard it, I was like, oh, I can't wait for this album to come out. Now, who actually did you guys all come together and say, all right, this is the single we're gonna put out, or how did you guys figure that out, that Decider was going to be the first one for people to hear?
There was some. I can't say that there was consensus in the band about putting that out as the first single. Some people wanted to, some people didn't. But Relapse was very, very firm that should be the first single. So we're like, okay, that'll save us having to fight about this. So
yeah. And how did you shop around the music? Because how did Relapse come into the fold? I know Terminal Bliss kind of signed with them too, and now you're putting this out on Relapse as well. How did that come about?
We sent demos around to a lot of labels, and Relapse was like super super positive about the demos from the very beginning, and they just seemed to have the most excitement about it out of everybody we were talking to, and it just made sense. Like the Terminal Bliss guys and Iron Reagan, and all our friends that have been on Relapse have always had nothing but good things to say about dealing with them. So it seemed like a no-brainer.
Yeah, definitely. It's such a great label too, and I'm glad they're still churning out the music. It's just
they're doing a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, definitely, and a lot of different stuff too, which is cool too.
Yeah.
But getting back into the early days of City of Caterpillar, the demo that came out in 2000, it was like a CDR, correct? And then the split with was it System 2600? Is that what came out first?
I don't know. There was definitely a demo. There's probably tapes and CDRs, and then if I remember it correctly, like a bunch of 7 inches kind of happened all around the same time, like the split with Page 99, split with System 2600, and then there was like a one-sided live 7-inch that we did. I I feel like those all happened in pretty close proximity when to each other, but I don't remember the exact timeline.
Yeah, yeah. I was trying to think of like the first thing that I heard from City of Caterpillar back in the day I think it was the split with System 2600. I think that was the very first thing I heard, and
Yeah.
then I'm not sure what it might have been the self-titled. That could have been the second thing, which the footage that I put out. Do you remember those shows or I know you played a billion shows, but do you
The
remember those shows?
like the one in Boston in the cage.
Yeah.
I definitely remember that show. That was a memorable one. What else did you put up?
The other one was kind of grainy, but it was when you played with Planes Mistaken for Stars at the Middle East
Oh
upstairs.
yeah, I remember that one too.
I think Sex Positions played with you guys as well on that show.
Yeah, for sure. I think that was like the first or second show that run with Planes Mistaken for Stars, and yeah, it was great. That was a great show.
Yeah, the the one in the cage was so memorable. It was like one of the best shows that I like. One of the most memorable shows for me. That, and I saw Page 99 in Manchester, New Hampshire, in this weird place that almost got shut down. But those two shows are like super memorable. Do you remember the band Neptune that played
Of course,
that opened that show?
with like all the homemade instruments.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Neptune was great. I'm not sure where they went to school. They might have went to school at MIT, or I'm not sure, but yeah, they created all their own instruments, and they were a sight to see, definitely. And they
yeah,
opened
they're a
the
cool
show.
band. Yeah, I remember we had a bunch of their CDs, and like the cases were made of like sheet metal,
Yeah.
and they were like really heavy to carry around. But
I know, like the cymbals were, steel drum bottoms that were like molded, like the
yeah,
opposite way, and
yeah,
saw blades for cymbals and stuff like that. They're
yeah,
really cool band.
yeah. People bring up that show in the cage all the time. Like I don't know. There's like didn't seem like there was that many people there, but like people who were there are like still around. It comes up a lot.
Yeah, I'm just glad that I still have footage from that show.
Yeah,
I
and
I went.
was that with Mannequin? Mannequin played that show too.
Yep, Mannequin and Transistor played that show too, as well as Neptune.
Right on. Yeah, that was I think we did like a little tour with Mannequin around then. That was really fun.
Yeah. Now, how did level playing kind of get into the fold back then with Greg?
Mm, they really wanted Page 99, and we like kind of forced ourselves upon them. It was part of the deal. Like you want to do a Page 99 record, it's going to be a split with this band, and like we got those guys on board to help us out. And yeah, I don't think they wanted anything to do with us at first, but then we played some like shows with Hot Cross, and they came around.
Yeah. Well, but they put out that live show at ABC No Rio, right? They did that too. Level playing.
Yeah, the one-sided 7-inch thing.
Yeah.
The live at WNYU. Yeah.
Yeah, but didn't they do the ABC No Rio, like it's like a video, but it's on? Isn't that on something? On level
Oh,
playing?
yeah.
I think it is.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
So back then, touring, what were like some of your best memories of touring back then? When the self-titled album came out, and what were some of the bands that kind of surprised you when you saw them live that you wanted to see?
I mean, it's all very fuzzy. We always were really excited to go to the West Coast and play out there, and I remember like a bunch of a lot of the California shows being really good. Sort of like Bay Area shows back then were really good. We played a few shows with Ruheda, who like I thought were really fucking good, but I don't know if anybody really ended up catching on to them. But they had a CD on Level Plane that was really good. But
Yeah.
live, they were fucking incredible. Um, who else did we play with? We did a lot of stuff with Planes Mistaken for Stars in those days, and like they were a great band to be tour buddies with.
Ruheda is watching us right now.
Oh, really? Oh, hey, Ruheda.
And on that note too, they're making new music as well
Oh, cool.
as we speak. So
Right on.
we'll hear some new Ruheda music soon.
Right on.
Yeah,
I
that was
remember
that.
we played some show at like a community center in Half Moon Bay. It just felt like we were driving into the middle of nowhere, and we were like really late, and we were like, "This show's gonna suck." It just felt like we were in the middle of nowhere, and we got there and it was packed, and like they played before us, I think, and just like holy shit.
I know.
Like,
Sometimes with bands like that, you're like, oh shit, we have to go after that. Like,
yeah,
damn.
yeah.
So I always wanted to ask too about Seth's record label, Repeater. How did that kind of record come out too? Because it came out in 2017. So how did that did he get in touch with you and said, I want to put this out? And
Yeah, he reached out to us and him and Chris,
mm-hmm.
and just like at the time, like we didn't have any plans to even play shows or get back together or do anything yet. Like the record hadn't been available in a really long time at that point. So we're like, yeah, well, it makes total sense to get this repressed and have it out there. I'm sure there's people who have like wanted it who like don't want to pay $50 or whatever for a used one.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like we knew Seth a little bit from back when he was in what was his band called?
Funeral Diner.
Funeral Diner.
Yeah.
Yeah, we played shows with them, and yeah, it made total sense, and like they were super nice, easy to deal with, and it made sense. It was painless.
Yeah, definitely. He's been doing some great things. I mean, the Reversal of Man discography that they just put out is amazing. I don't know if you've seen it, but I mean,
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, the layout is really nice, and
Cool.
it sounds they redid the sound and mastered everything, and it sounds really really good.
Nice. I'll have to check it out.
I also wanted to ask about Malady. When City stopped being together, I know like reunion shows happened in 2017, but when you guys first kind of broke up, was Malady close after that? I mean, was it almost like City songs put into Malady songs?
We didn't like reuse anything that was in the works for City of Caterpillar, but it was pretty quickly after City of Caterpillar broke up, we got Malady rolling. But no, we didn't take any songs and reuse them from Malady. It was all fresh. But yeah, at that point in time, like me and Kevin especially, like we're like really eager to like be busy and be doing stuff. So we didn't really waste any time getting Malady going. We probably like rushed that record way more than we should have. But we wanted to be out there playing shows and doing stuff.
Yeah, which is crazy because you say rushed. It's such a great album, though. It's I feel that band and that record is super underrated, and people don't talk about it, enough in my eyes. And I know a lot of people love that record too, as well. I know you say rush, but did you want more to come out from that band? Because obviously that self-title is the only thing that came out, and I know people were chomping for at the bit for more Malady, and it never came to fruition. But if you took your time, was there more songs in the fold that just didn't get recorded or put out?
We had some songs that were in the works that kind of made it into the Verse and Coma record that came out after Malady. But yeah, like we had been working on stuff. We'd added another guitar player at the very end, Nathan from he's in Crestfallen and he's in a bunch of bands. He's in Big No here in Richmond. But he started playing guitar with Malady at the very end, and we were writing songs with him. And it just like it became impossible for that band to continue. So like when we did take some of those song ideas and turn them into a couple of Verse and Coma songs.
Yeah. And that's some other footage that I have of Malady was at Friendly Fest that Brian Furnett
Yeah.
set up. Do you remember that fest?
Yeah.
I mean, Pig Destroyer, Majority Rule played, Chaos Pilot.
Yeah.
I mean, that was an incredible fest.
That was great. Yeah, I remember that well. Our car broke down on the way home in Philadelphia, and we ended up having to stay on Matt from Hot Cross's floor for several nights, and we really angered some of his roommates, made a mess of his house. But we're really sorry about that, Matt, if you're watching.
And I also wanted to ask about the Envy tour that you guys did. How was that, and how did that even, how did that come about?
Well, City of Caterpillar had gone to Japan before we broke up and done a tour with Envy and Hot Cross, and when Malady started, like we were like, "Do you guys want to come tour the U.S.?" Like trying to repay the favor of them bringing us over, and
Yeah.
I guess they didn't have any better offers because they came and did it with us, and it was great though. Like the shows were really good. It was really fun hanging out with those guys, and I feel a little bad because we did the tour in January or February, and it was mostly in like the Northeast and the Midwest, so it was like snowy and cold and icy, and I can't imagine like what they were thinking when we were driving them around through like, I don't know, through all this lake effect blizzard snow, and I don't know. It must have been a little terrifying, but
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun, and the shows were really cool.
Well, I mean, it's a dicey thing too, because in the summertime it's like brutally humid, and you get like clubs or basements or venues that don't have barely any AC too. So it's like it's a hit or miss, I guess. Like,
I mean, in my mind, though, it was a great success, but maybe they think that tour sucked. I don't know. I've never had the courage to ask them.
Well, I remember seeing that tour in Boston.
Yeah.
I think it was. I'm not exactly sure.
Great Scott.
Yeah, Great Scott. Yes. Yeah. No, I can't remember who opened though at all. Like I think I might have got there late. And I just
was there a band called Disappearer or?
Oh, Disappearer. That's right. Oh shit. Damn. Yeah.
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 I think
All right.
they played a couple of those Northeast shows, I believe.
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome. I totally forgot that. That's crazy. So what other like tours meant a lot to you? Like obviously you said you toured Japan. What were like the special places that you toured that were very special to you?
The Japan tour was definitely a huge one. That was like a life-changing experience, and like being with the Envy guys and the Hot Cross guys. It was super fun. We did a tour with my brother's band Strike Anywhere in Canada. Yep. That was a super fun tour. And then of course we probably did 3 or 4 tours with Planes Mistaken for Stars. Like our first tour we ever did, and the reason we like rushed to turn Monotonous Fuck into Seed of Caterpillar was so that we could do a tour with Planes that had already been booked as like a Monotonous Fuck Planes tour. Like so, they're kind of the impetus for us even existing as a band, and like it was always a blast to be with them.
Yeah. Going back to Mystic Sisters, I know you said that some of the songs are kind of old, and is there any new songs that you guys have that like
I
maybe
mean,
like an EP could come out in say 6 months to a year? Since if you have newer songs that those are kind of older.
yeah, it's possible, but not likely that it'll be that fast.
Mm.
Um, we're one thing that's definitely different than the old days is it takes us a lot longer to get shit done than it did back then. Like, uh, we get together pretty regularly, but just like finishing stuff, it's it takes some time to get everybody on board.
Yeah. And now was that the same kind of with the reunion shows that had happened in was it 2017 and 2018, and then again in 2019 you had those three shows? Was that kind of the same type of thing, just trying to get everybody together to do
Uh,
reunion?
that was a little easier. I mean, we just had to learn the old songs. I think when we did the first set of reunion shows, we only got together to practice maybe 3 times before those shows. So that was pretty easy because I mean it was just a matter of learning the stuff and getting tight. But creating new stuff and it's a little more complicated these days.
And what was the thought process behind the sound? Did you want to sound like, how some bands change completely after years of being together? They want to try something new. What was the thought process of like the sound that's going to come out on this new record?
Um, there wasn't like any sort of like formula we were trying to stick to or anything. I think some of us are like a little more open to like trying whatever idea comes to mind, and some of us are a little more like wanting to not stray too far off the path that
Yeah.
we set for ourselves 20 years ago. But there's no like hard rules.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask because sometimes years go by. Say like a band called the band Daughters, who sounded
Yeah,
completely different, and then years went by, and then all of a sudden they had a like not drastically different sound, but the vocals were certainly different. So that's
yeah, yeah,
why I was just asking if it was kind of the same, like you said, formula that you
yeah.
went.
I mean, there's definitely some songs on the record that probably have very little in common with the old stuff, but like songs like Decider and some of the other songs have more of the chaotic, frantic vocals, that kind of thing. That's
Yeah.
more like the old stuff. But I think I think it came out pretty balanced. Not, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what people think. Some people might fucking hate it.
I doubt it. I highly doubt it. Did y'all get any flack from, like, I know you put the shows out in the cities and stuff. Obviously, there's probably a lot of people that were like, "Hey, are you guys coming to this city and that city?" Did you catch a lot of flack already for not going
Uh,
to?
Not a lot. I mean, and we're gonna try to do more touring as we can. Like, so if people are writing and saying, "Why aren't you coming here?" I'm just telling them we're gonna try to later in the year or next year.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do as much as we can given everybody's schedules. But it's definitely that the shows that are announced aren't gonna be the end of the touring that we're doing. There's gonna be some more dates that'll come up.
Yeah. Awesome. Now, is it easier? Like you said, winter's kind of rough touring. What's easier for you, winter or like spring, summer touring? Obviously, probably spring and summer is probably better.
It doesn't really matter to me. I don't. It's kind of like easier to book tours in the winter because not every band in the world is trying to tour. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Now, is there any bands that you're excited to play with, shows with?
Yeah, for sure. I'm really excited about the DC show with Cigarette and Hologram. Both those bands are really great. The Richmond show is looking to be pretty good. Loud Night, who's like kind of like a Motorhead rock band, and Dorothea Cottrell from Windham's solo projects. That'll be cool. Yeah, I we've got Michael Burden from Uniform opening a couple shows, doing his like noise solo thing. That'll be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you have any bands that you would want to play with that aren't on those shows that you would like to play with, like newer bands that have come out?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we've you know, there's a bunch of bands. We're trying to get stuff going. Uh, so we'll see. But like, yeah, there's a lot of great newer bands that we'd love to play with, given the opportunity. So I'll keep harassing them and let you know.
Nice. Do you have anything else in the works besides City of Caterpillar that you're doing musically right now?
No, this is it. Um, yeah, I barely have the free time to do anything productive with City of Caterpillar. So I can't imagine. I don't know how like Ryan does it. Ryan's in I think 5 or 6 bands at any time, and I just can't imagine. It's I can't do that. Like one is more than enough.
Yeah. And you said Brandon almost came on with us today too. What was his band that played last night or the night before? What was the name of that band?
His show, and he was supposed to do a couple shows this past week, but they got canceled because some people in the other bands got COVID. But his other band that was playing is called Skulk Kits. It's him and Matt from Ghastly City Sleep. It's like a electronic kind of industrial. It's very dark electronic. It's just like the two of them with like walls of synthesizers, and
Yeah.
it's like brooding dark electronic music.
Yeah. Speaking of COVID, is there any concerns about like touring again with the world being crazy with COVID now?
Uh, I mean, it's all like I try not to worry about it too much. I just came down with COVID for the first time a few days ago, so I'm in my bedroom isolating as we speak. But it's just part of the equation now. Like there's no there's no way to like escape it. It's just it's part of our reality. So
Yeah.
hopefully we can get through the tours we've got booked without any incident. I know the shows Brandon was supposed to do this past week were with No Man, and I guess a couple of them got COVID, and that's why those shows got canceled. But yeah, it's a lot of people close to us right now have come down with it, so it's still going around.
Yeah. Now, how are you doing? You feeling better or?
I'm like I'm totally symptom free at this point, except like a little bit of a cough, but I'm still testing positive. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep hiding out here till test negative, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm sitting in the car. My wife had COVID a week ago, and then my oldest daughter has like some crazy cold. She tested negative 3 times.
Yeah,
So we took her to urgent care, and they said that she just has like some crazy cold or something. So I was like, I'll just stay out of the house as much as possible. So that's why I'm
yeah,
doing a little parking lot action right now.
yeah. I understand.
But yeah, I went to a show a week ago, and one of the bands tested positive the next day. So it's a lot of tours are getting cut short, and it
Yeah,
sucks. So I mean, I hope the best for a city to get through all this, and
yeah,
it's almost like you want COVID before you go on tour, so that there'll be no hiccups. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Totally.
as weird as that sounds.
No, it
Um,
makes sense.
but Yeah, I mean, I still have this. This has been in my long standing for the longest time. Of course,
Cool.
it's scratched out because I'm an old guy. And I'll never get rid of this either. So,
Nice.
yeah, of course, with this too. I'm one of those old guys that carries one of these, so like I don't have the artwork. Once you're upper 40s, 50 years old, you got the CD booklet.
Yeah.
But I don't want to take too much of your time. Usually before I end these chats, I usually do a rapid fire. So you ready for some rapid fire?
Okay. What are about any topic, anything? What are
No,
we talking about?
I mean, we're talking like mostly hardcore. Sometimes I throw in some
Okay.
like a movie thing here and there, but 'cause I'm a big movie buff, so.
It's like trivia?
No, it's your like I ask you a question and you give me whatever you think is the right answer in your mind.
All right.
So my first question always is all-time favorite New England punk or hardcore band for you from New England, which means like Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Maine.
New England hardcore band. Drop Dead.
It's a good one. It's a good one. My second question. What was your first punk hardcore show you attended? Like real punk hardcore show. Not like a Battle of the Bands type of thing, but like a real hardcore show. What was the first one you went to?
I mean, does Fugazi count as hardcore?
Yeah, yeah, that's punkish. Yeah.
I mean, Fugazi, I guess. If not Fugazi, it would have to be like maybe like a Suspects. You know the band The Suspects from DC?
I do, yes.
Definitely saw them a bazillion times, and they were probably one of like the first like real punk shows I went to.
Now, what was your first like heavy hardcore show? Well, obviously you weren't into like metal and stuff like that. So, but I mean, being from the DC area, you probably saw a bunch of like moshing when you went.
Oh yeah.
So, what was your first like real heavy show that you went to?
Maybe like a Damnation AD show. They played a lot. Like Jason Yon from Turbine would put on these shows in his dad's church, and like remember like one of the shows was like Damnation AD, Battery, Frodus. I forget who else, but I remember like Damnation AD being really crushingly heavy and being pretty impressed by that.
Yeah, nice. That's a good one. My next question: what is your all-time favorite show you played? What was the most memorable one that you played that meant the most to you? Or you could give me a couple. I mean, you've played a billion shows, so I mean, what was the most memorable one for you that meant something?
I mean, I'm probably gonna just because of how old I am, I'm only gonna be able to remember the recent ones, but like going back to Japan in 2018 and doing a show with Envy, that was pretty huge. We did like a little club show with them. Yeah, it was great. It was great to see those guys again and get to play together. And also Fluff Fest in 2017 was pretty amazing. That was definitely by far the biggest crowd we ever played to, and it was. I don't know, we played like right at like sunset. It was like kind of magical.
Yeah. How was New Friends Fest for you when you guys played that?
That was great. It was a lot of fun.
A lot of young bands there. Did it kind of open your eyes to the new younger scene with those?
Yeah, we definitely saw some bands that we hadn't seen before or heard of before. But yeah, it was people were super nice, super enthusiastic. It was great vibe.
Yeah, they I don't know if you heard, but they had just had another one.
Yeah, I saw.
A week or two ago.
Looks like it got bigger, which is cool.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, 3 days I think was
cool.
Yeah, that's great though. All right, I'll keep going. I don't want to keep you for too long. My next question: what is your all-time favorite hardcore punk show you attended that you didn't play? Like you went to a hardcore show. What was your favorite one that you saw that you went to and didn't play at all? You didn't play the show.
Let's see. There was an Ink and Dagger show that me and Mike Taylor from Page 99 went to at George Washington University. That definitely is up there on the list. Uh, it's hard to even like to go through like the files of like all the shows I've seen, but that definitely left an impact. Also like some of like the dystopia shows I saw were really cool. Going like with Page 99 did this like weird West Coast tour like before they had any music out. We just like went out there and I went with them for like 3 shows. And like we saw Dystopia for the first time, and I remember being really blown away by Dystopia. Yeah, that's what I can think of. I don't even remember where that show was. It was like some like fucking VFW hall in a tiny little town somewhere outside of San Francisco. But that's about it. That's all the detail I can give you on that.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I wanted to ask about Haram. Now that now what part did you have in that band? I know it was. Did you fill in? Or were you on any of those recordings from that
I'm not
band?
on any. I'm not on any of the recordings. I joined the band for a while, like in between the 2 records. So we did a bunch of touring when I was in the band, but no recording. We went to Europe once for I don't know, like a 6-week tour. It felt really long. And a
Yeah,
bunch of U.S. tours, but I didn't play on any of the records. No,
yeah,
I guess I was more of like a hired gun, just playing other people's parts.
yeah. That band's really, really good too, as well.
Yeah, they're great.
Super underrated too.
Yeah.
Did they just need you to, kind of tour, and that's how they asked you to jump in?
I mean, I think I was joining as a member of the band, and like, but I left before it was time to really write any songs or
Yeah,
record anything. I think like the writing chemistry, it wasn't there for me. Like
yeah,
I didn't have anything to offer them, so
yeah, yeah,
I got out of the way.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask about that real quick because it slipped my mind for a second. But I'll keep going with the rapid fire. My next question. I'm a big movie buff, so I always ask this to everybody I talk to. What was the last movie you watched?
The last movie I watched, does like documentaries count? Like I think
Well,
or does it have
not
to
really.
be
Yeah, it's gonna
not
be a
really?
movie. It's gonna be a movie.
Then it would have to be the new David Cronenberg.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
Crimes of the Future, or Crimes of,
yeah,
is that what it's called? Crimes of the Future.
yeah. I didn't finish it yet, but I started it. I started that.
And what do you think of that so far? I've seen it, so
It's pretty wild. I enjoyed it, but whenever I put on a movie, it's like at the end of the day, and it's very rare for me to like make it through the end without falling asleep. So I start a lot of movies and don't finish hardly any of them.
yeah. Vigo's pretty good in that, though. I haven't seen
Yeah,
Vigo in a movie for a while, so it was good to see him definitely again.
yeah.
And Cronenberg's, you can't go wrong with him. Have you seen any of his son's movies, Brandon Cronenberg?
I don't know. What's he done?
Have you seen the movie Possessor?
No.
That's amazing movie. If you want to see a movie, see Possessor.
Okay.
I'll send you the link
All right.
after.
All right. I'll check it out.
Yeah,
Now
he's
that I
always
have like now that I have all
go
kinds
ahead.
of time on my hands, sitting here in isolation, I can watch a movie for
Yeah.
sure.
My last movie I watched the new Predator movie Prey last night on Hulu.
Oh yeah, how's that?
It was all right. It was pretty good. I mean, it's better than the last few that they've had out. So it was
Yep.
it was decent. Yeah, somebody just said Possessor is fucking incredible. It's a really good movie. I'm telling you,
All right.
it's great.
All
But
right. I'll take the endorsement.
my next question: all-time favorite horror movie for you?
Maybe Alien, the first Alien. That's a pretty good one. Does that count as a horror movie?
Yeah, yeah. I would say that. Yeah. Did you like the kind of like the prequel Prometheus? Did you kind of like that?
I hadn't seen that till like really recently. I watched that at some point this year, and I did. I really liked it. I was expecting to not like it at all, but I thought it was great.
Yeah, I liked it too. Definitely. I also asked this. I'm a big '90s hip hop guy. I don't know if you
Okay.
listened to hip hop when you were younger or you still listen to hip hop, but if you do, what have you been listening to for hip hop lately?
I don't listen to a lot of hip hop, but I can vouch for the new Dalek record. That's really good.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I'm not a huge hip hop aficionado.
Now, were you back in the day when you were a kid? Did you like hip hop, or it was something that just wasn't your thing?
It's not that I disliked it. I just like I never really got too into that world.
Yeah. Now, when you were a kid, were you a skateboarder? Because I know it always
For
bridges the
sure.
gap. It always bridges the gap between punk and hardcore kids.
Yeah, yeah. When I was definitely middle school years were I was never any good, but I hung out with the skateboarders and like tried to skateboard. But yeah, that was definitely like how I was probably how I met Mike and Chris. I don't know if they skated, but they probably like were hanging around where the skaters were hanging around and came across them.
Yeah. I mean, that area alone must have been such a like hotbed for like the scene down there. I mean, you had, Page 99, Majority Rule was around there, like Pig Destroyer. I mean, how was the scene back then?
I mean, there wasn't like where we were living in Sterling Park, like there wasn't really anything going on. Uh, we
Except the
kind of had
except the Taylor Brothers basement.
the Taylor Brothers basement and like the teen center place that opened up called the Cage, and
Yeah,
then like once that place opened up, we started putting on shows there and like trying to make stuff happen.
yeah,
Like, but really the scene was happening more in like Fairfax, which is like another suburb of DC, but like a little bit bigger of a place closer to the city. And in DC, obviously, there's stuff going on, but out where we were, it was kind of the sticks. And like, if we weren't like making it happen, there wasn't really anything happening.
yeah. No, was Richmond the closest like city kind of to
No,
Sterling?
DC was much closer. DC was about 30 miles away
Yeah,
from where we grew up. Um, Richmond was like 100 miles away, like so a couple hours drive. We
yeah,
didn't really start coming down to Richmond for stuff till we could drive, and probably like the tail end of high school, we started coming down to Richmond to like play shows and see
yeah.
shows.
Yeah. My point being, though, is just that there was so many good bands that came out of that small area. You know what I mean? It's kind of strange. Boston has its own thing, and even New Hampshire had its own little small scene too that put out some like good bands that a lot of people never heard of. But Florida had their thing,
Yeah,
California had their thing. It's just I always ask about that because so many like great bands came out of that area.
yeah. I mean, I guess like DC was kind of like the center of that universe, and like we were on like the farthest planet in that orbit, like where like nothing. There wasn't really like other than Page 99 and whatever they were doing and like Enemy Soil.
Hmm.
So there wasn't like a whole lot going on unless like and if we weren't like actively involved in like doing it, there wasn't anything happening in Sterling Park where we were.
Yeah, yeah. Um, um, I got two more questions for you. My next one: what is your favorite song to play live? City of Caterpillar. What are some of your favorite songs to play live?
I've always really liked playing Maybe We'll Know Right Through. For some reason, that one's really fun to play.
Mm.
Um, yeah.
Now on this new these new shows that you're gonna play, is a lot of the older songs kind of in there too as well, or are you gonna play
Yeah,
a lot of new songs, or?
we haven't figured out a set list yet, but I'm sure we'll play, you know, a good chunk of old songs along with some new stuff. Um, we haven't figured all that out yet, but we're definitely not gonna like only play the new record and go home. We'll
Yeah,
play some of the old stuff.
yeah, and I hopefully a Boston or like a Providence, Rhode Island show. I mean, I'd love it actually if you guys played in New Hampshire, but there's barely any venues that actually do stuff up in New Hampshire.
Yeah,
Speaking of New
I mean,
Hampshire, have you ever played New Hampshire? I know you said Amherst, New Hampshire, but I think it was Amherst, Mass. that you played.
right. I don't know if I've ever played a show in New Hampshire. I've been there. I've been there on tour with like bands I work for, but I I don't think City of Caterpillar ever played there. Any band that I was in ever played there.
In like I said, hopefully Boston is in your thoughts. Like when you do new shows.
Yeah, we're trying. Boston is proving to be extremely difficult to book a show in right now. We've been trying, but if we're not in Boston, we'll be somewhere in the vicinity for sure.
Yeah.
Before the end of the year.
Nice. And my last question, what is like if you could do a dream team of like hardcore band, who would you pick for your dream team hardcore band?
Oh, easy. Mike Taylor, Chris Taylor, my brother, Brandon, and Ryan. Double drums. Yeah.
Nice.
It would be some sort of amalgamation of Page 99, City of Caterpillar, but with like with my brother in there too.
Yeah. Now, can we make this happen? Can this?
Probably not. Probably won't ever happen.
That would be amazing if it did, though.
I think maybe 30 years ago, my brother said he would never play in a band with me again, and I think he's still holding to that.
Oh God. Well, I want to thank you again for taking time out to talk to me, especially you having symptoms of COVID and stuff like that, and just taking time out. I really appreciate it. I mean, I know it's a long time coming, and me pestering you to jump on here with me. But like I said, I've just been doing this for almost 2 years now, and it's been a real fun ride for me. I feel like I only have maybe 15 more talks left in me. I think I'm going to do a little bit over 100 talks, and then I'm probably going to do something else. But,
well, I appreciate you being so patient with getting this together. I know we kind of put it off for a long time, but thanks for the patience. It was fun.
And anything that you wanted to like say for to tell everybody the release date of the album or anything that's coming out, let whoever know.
I think the new record comes out September 30th on Relapse. I don't know. Relapse.com has all the information you could possibly want to know. And you can pre-order the record if you're inclined. Get the fancy colored vinyls. There's shirts up for sale now, I think, and cassettes, CDs.
Yeah,
all that stuff.
The shirts look good. They definitely look good. Now, did you save all the stuff that everything that you've done in bands? Have you saved like the vinyls and the CDs and shirts for yourself? I always ask because some people don't have anything, and then other people kept like at least one of everything they put out.
I've saved nothing. I've absolutely nothing.
And
I'm not much.
What,
I don't know. I'm not very like sentimental when it comes to that sort of stuff. I don't care about having it or like looking at it. Yeah, I don't have any records, any shirts, nothing.
No flyers, no old flyers or anything like that.
There's like one Tupperware bin of flyers that survived from. I don't know how it survived all the moves and stuff over the years, but we came across it when we moved to Richmond, and it was good because there's a lot of stuff we needed for some like City Caterpillar stuff. But yeah, we have one bin with like City Caterpillar artwork and old flyers and stuff. But other than that, I haven't saved anything, and I didn't intentionally save the bin I have. It got lucky.
Yeah. Now, was anybody in the band actually like wrote down like not a diary, but like the shows that City played? Does anybody really actually know? Like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, I wish I wrote down all the shows that we played on like a little notebook or something. Did anybody in the band do that at all? That you know?
Not that I'm aware. Not that I'm aware of. If anybody would have done something like that, maybe Ryan would have done that. But I've never seen anything like that. I don't know. I think all of us are kind of like not so sentimental with that kind of stuff. Not so like, and definitely not like keeping records of stuff at all.
Yeah, yeah. Well, once again, congratulations on the new record. I can't wait to hear it. The single is amazing, and
Thanks, man.
hopefully you guys hit Boston sometime soon or Providence in my vicinity. I had tickets for the 2018 2017-2018 tour, and last minute my ride had like some emergency with his wife, and like I got like I had no ride at all. It was like I was waiting for him to get to my house, and then he was like, dude, I can't go. My wife, whatever, she got into like an accident or something. So, yeah,
I'm fairly certain that in November there will be some more dates, and there should be one, maybe two New England shows in there.
Nice, awesome. Yeah, if there's something I could do to help, like, I know a lot of people in New England. Maybe
right on.
Send them your way to try to get you guys up in this area.
Right on, thanks.
And I'll send you that link to Possessor movie too as well. So
great.
Let's stay in touch, and I hope you feel better. And I'll talk to you soon. Thank you, Jeff,
All right.
so much.
Thanks, Al.
All right,
Take care.